Having this on-demand, self-service, rapidly elastic model that is cloud allows us to do wonderful things. We can do many good things with good honest software that we couldn't do in the past. However, all of those attributes allow evil actors to do some pretty malicious things as well. So for example, cloud resources are enormously effective at mounting DDoS attacks. If you can go in there and spin up as many resources as you like, as fast as you like, that is enormously useful for flooding a target with malicious traffic. You spin up a bunch of machines in one go, and you tell them all to target a particular resource. Now, cloud providers such as Microsoft and Amazon and Google normally put a stop to that sort of thing pretty quickly, but not all cloud providers are quite so vigilant. And indeed, it can also still take a while before malicious activity like that is identified and the services shut down. Another use again is for password cracking. This is an activity which can be really resource intensive. And the upside of doing this in the cloud is that appropriate resources can be provisioned when required, used for the duration of the cracking process, and then simply discarded and the charges end. This, again, is the joy of having a measured service. Let me give you an example of that. In 2015, there was this piece, cracking a Wi-Fi WPA2 password thanks to Amazon. And effectively what they've done here is just spun up appropriate resources as required and then gone through the password cracking exercise. In this case, there was a perfect image already available in AWS. An Amazon Linux AMI with NVIDIA Grid GPU power. So this is now using graphical processing units that are available as a service in the cloud, and they tend to be enormously effective at cracking certain types of hashes. Now, of course, password cracking isn't always used for malicious purposes, but you can certainly see how it would be attractive to attackers that wanted to use the cloud to break other people's security. Let's go and have a look at another malicious use. Botnet command and control. In a botnet of infected machines, sometimes tens or hundreds of thousands of different machines, the command and control server gives the attacker a mechanism to orchestrate the behavior of the bots. Now, these CNC servers are always the target of law enforcement and security vendors alike, because if you can take down the CNC, you effectively leave the infected machines orphaned. They can no longer take commands from anywhere. Part of the joy of the cloud for a bot herder who's trying to keep their CNC servers alive is that it's just so easy to spin up new CNC environments. Now, of course, they've still got to make sure that those infected clients know which CNC server to talk to. But the very fact that they can spin up machines so quickly and then spin them up in different parts of the world with different configurations gives them a whole bunch of different options which they never had before the advent of the cloud. One final malicious use for the cloud is captcha solving. Now, this is an exercise which is done with various levels of success, depending on the captcha and depending on the value of solving an individual one for the attacker. This is an exercise that can be quite resource intensive, particularly if it's done at volume. So the promise of the cloud here is the ability to rapidly deploy instances of logical machines or services that can take on board the load involved in cracking captchas. Now, an automated machine solving captchas for you probably sounds like a pretty nice idea. But keep in mind that captchas are normally there to try and avoid automation. So they're usually there to protect systems from attacks such as brute force. So an attacker being able to solve captchas at a high rate often then puts other legitimate machines at risk. These are all malicious uses of the cloud that we've seen before, and we'll see them again as well. Let's go and take a look at just a couple of other potential risks within the cloud.